Shalafu, from listener questions to some running gags. Insider stories, ambush line, that dad life and respect for flags. Kick off the weekend, alright? It's the Growler Friday Show, it's Who Dey Light.
All right, welcome into the latest edition of Who Dey Light. Paul Dehner Jr., Mark Shalafu here with you. Happy weekend to you, Mark.
Thank you. I'm psyched that we finally made it to the weekend. It's been a long week. I've been doing a lot of community service this week.
Community service?
Yes, I did stand-up comedy at a retirement community in Blue Ash this week. So I'm giving back to the people. It was, 1/3 of the people there loved it. A few people were sleeping. One lady came in on a walker halfway through and asked the director of the retirement community why I wasn't doing stand-up comedy in the middle of my stand-up comedy. So that was fun, but giving back.
Was this government mandated community service? Is this part of a program?
This was not court ordered. This was purely out of the goodness of my heart. But yes, I'm feeling very fulfilled and glad to be doing regular shows this weekend, not for the elderly. But I'm good. How are you doing?
We're doing great. It's back to school time. The back to school flag is flying proudly. Everybody is back. We're on day 3, which means we're like into the routine. We're already like, the routine, getting up, getting out early, dealing with all the games and the practices and the running around, getting adjusted. So that's good. But we're getting there. We're in the zone. It's good to be back in school mode. That means football's right around the corner. The last preseason game. Yeah. We can finally leave this behind us. They officially completed training camp with their last 2 camp practices. They had a scrimmage yesterday, 51 plays. And everybody, specifically number 9, came out of it healthy. And so that's a good thing. And it kind of got us thinking a little bit. We Mark and I were talking about this show. I was like, there's been a lot of negativity out there lately.
It hasn't been a fun week for the shows. Not a lot of positivity after that game.
We were trying to answer and talk about a lot of the issues that we're seeing. And it's kind of what's happened. A lot of guard talk, a lot of bad defense talk, all of that. And we thought, you know what? We need to flip this just for now. You've heard enough of that. We're going to really be conscious about this decision. Let's go Dey Bright.
Yeah. Dey
We're
Bright.
going to really focus on the positive. Today is going to be a positive show for a good, positive, happy weekend for everybody. We are truly starting it off right.
Yep. And I am ready. I'm ready. I brought my positives to the table so that we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, we're going to have a positive off. And we're going to see who can last longer offering up all of whatever their positives are. And we're going to go back and forth and see who's the last man standing trying to come up with positives. Yeah. I think we can do. I think it's going to, I have no clue how long it's going to take. No clue.
Maybe this will be a 2-hour episode. There's a lot to like about this team. It's not all just defense and guard play. There's a lot to like.
There's a lot to like. A reminder of the shows that we have coming up next. We will have a walkout on Saturday. Charlie and I will be basically looking at the 53 and where it stands after Saturday's game. So if you are interested in that topic and whatever happenings we get from the home preseason game, from the locker room and such, make sure you check in on that Saturday afternoon. We'll post that then. And then Charlie and I will also have a reaction show on Tuesday to the cut. And we'll see what happens there in terms of if there's any movement, players, waiver wires that would be coming after that. But we'll kind of have a reaction to the cut. Zach Taylor speaks at 4:15 on Tuesday, offering up his thoughts. And so once all of that is completed, we will hop on the mics for you and give you all that stuff. Most importantly, we are less than 2 weeks away now from our season debut, the season kickoff show on Thursday, September 4th at BetMGM, Tom's Watch Bar down at the Banks. Such a good time down there. We love doing it. We're going to be giving away tickets to Bengals Jags home opener. We will be taking your questions. We'll be offering our takes and predictions on the season. It'll be our whole crew. Bengals media will be strolling through, and we'll be, if you've been to these shows, you know how much fun it is. It's one of our favorite nights of the year, and we are stoked to be back down at BetMGM for our first live show of the season.
This is one of the best shows to come to because we love our in-season shows. They're always a fun time, but then you and Jay have to go run off, cover a game. Other people might want to hit different tailgates and different spots. This is the one night that there's nothing else going on, so we're all there. We just get to hang out, drink beers, watch football. It's a good one to come to.
It's a great one to come to. I'm a big fan of this night, and we'll be doing. And the other question is, again, for the third straight year, we're going to show up with will there be a big signing while we're live? Because we had it.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow actually signed right as we signed off a couple of years ago. Jamar Chase was up in the air last year. We were wondering if he was going to sign. And this year, it's very possible we're still sweating the Trey Hendrickson situation on the Thursday before the opener. It's an annual rite of fall, really, is what it is that we have this show wondering if the big signing is going to happen while we are actually talking, and we'll be able to offer whatever insight we have on that. And then, like a couple of years ago, you can watch us scramble and have to do like live hits and stuff from the show so you can see how the sausage is made poorly.
Yeah, you can drink beers with me while we both watch you guys scramble and have to do your jobs and just enjoy getting to see that chaos. But it's Dey Bright, so I like to think that Trey's going to be locked up by then and very happy and contributing, and he'll be a team captain by that point. So I feel pretty good about all of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for the positive off?
Let's go. Let's do it.
That's all right. I will offer you the first positive, and we'll see who ends up being the last man standing in the Bengals positive off.
There's been a lot of doomerism, but there's still a lot of things to like about this upcoming season. Let's start with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins all being healthy and having a training camp together. The vibes are good among your most important players. You've got one of the best guys at the most important position in the NFL. So there needs to be more talk about that. You know, how good those three are together. A lot of people didn't think that the T. Higgins thing was going to come together. And it did. And, you know, that's going to put them in a much better spot to start the season. And those guys, when the going gets tough, they can carry this team. So that's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start there. We have to remind everybody, because the best news about this team is that we're hardly talking about 9-1-5 because they're not in the news. Everything's going swimmingly with them, and they're going to go out there and try to be enough to make up for some of the other issues that you're working through early on in the season. And they just might be if they do enter playing well. And let's look at Joe Burrow did not get hurt playing in the preseason. Now, it was close. There were a few moments where you wondered, but he didn't. He didn't get hurt. He played 2 quarters. They scored 4 touchdowns in 5 drives. The offense that has quietly been the problem with the slow starts has been good and has looked ready for week 1. They have all of that going in their favor. Joe Burrow seems like he's really happy with his first real normal preseason, first normal camp, first time playing extended preseason snaps. Stuff that he's always wanted to do because he has felt like that would make him play better early in the season. If it does that, there's a pretty good chance that they won't start slow. So I think that's my return. That's my volley back to you on the Joe Burrow topic.
All right. Well, if we're going to stay with the offense then too, for me with my next one, because Chase Brown has looked fantastic. I know that's something that we've talked about a few times during camp, and it's come up in the camp reports, but you know, he's going to get a lot of touches in this offense. A lot of those opposing defensive coordinators are going to have to plan how they're going to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So Chase Brown is going to get a lot of opportunities. We've seen what he can do in this offense. I think it's going to be really fun to see what he can do with an even bigger role in this offense. There's no competition through the first half of the year. You didn't know what Zach Moss's role was going to be. So it's the Chase Brown show now. And when you have an electric back like that thrown into the mix with an incredible quarterback and 2 outstanding receivers, like that is a potent offense. And he's going to be a really fun one to watch.
Yeah, he is just going to be a star this year. I mean, you just hope that he can be durable enough to make it through the whole year, but he was that at Illinois. I mean, he was a really durable player there, a true workhorse back for them. So I think they feel like, and he proved with the second half of last season, I mean, taking nearly every single snap. I think he can be that. There was one play in, I think it was Wednesday the Wednesday practice, where they've done a lot more splitting him out wide. And, you've probably seen this. If you watch enough Bengals games, they like to put the running back out wide at first just to see the matchup, and it helps Joe, play chess back there. And a lot of times then he'll signal for the running back to come in and go back to standing back next to him as, again, a way to get a tell from the defense and what they're doing. But I think what you're seeing now, at least we've seen in practice, is a lot of leaving him out there when he sees that it's a linebacker matchup and saying Chase has gotten really good at route running, and they've been throwing him over the top. I mean, he went by Logan Wilson, and Wilson had really nice coverage, but Burrow puts it right on the spot. Chase Brown ran a great route and hauled it in over the top. And we've seen that a few times now, where using Chase Brown to really get after matchups that's kind of a new thing. And it's another new wrinkle they're going to use with him out of the backfield or out there split out wide. That is going to be exciting. He is going to be a monster. It just feels like he's going to be an absolute monster this year. So that's a good one. I will volley that back with Dylan Fairchild.
Ooh,
I mean, this was a big question. This was a big question entering camp. I mean, can a third round rookie, he seemed like he was kind of raw. How quickly would he acclimate? Can he hang in there? And it's been preseason games, so asterisk certainly, but he has really looked the part. And that has taken last year they had 2 bad guards. Now they might only have 1. That's 50% better, I think.
That's who Dey Bright.
Yeah. So that's a good thing, right? I just feel like Dylan Fairchild looks like he's going to be solid. He's going to be able to play you're not going to go out there against Cleveland and be really nervous about what left guard looks like. You're maybe a little nervous just because it is a rookie in his first game or whatever, but I think it feels like they might have found one there, something that they just haven't done in really forever. I was going to say recent years, but not even recent years, almost forever. It's been like since Clint Bowling in 2011 that you feel like they've gone to the mid rounds and found an interior lineman that is really solid and successful. So we'll see how it plays out. But right now, all signs point to Dylan Fairchild being a success. And that is a big check mark coming out of this camp.
Yeah, and I understand the preseason caveat, I get that. But also, it was also preseason games for Lucas Patrick, and he didn't look that great. And there is no discussion about that left guard position. That is a really strong positive. I know that even after he was drafted, and we had these talks kind of before we got to see what he could do against other teams, it was a lot of like, hey, don't expect too much. The ceiling is, it is what it is for a third round offensive lineman. You can't expect much year one. Maybe average is the best. I'm starting to allow myself to believe he's going to be above average. That's how good I thought he looked in these first 2 games. And I think maybe there is a chance. Maybe the precedent will be broken and this guy will be the dude that just stands out and, is the one that we're trying to replicate in future years. So I am completely on the Dylan Fairchild hype train.
All right. Love that.
I got to take that off of my list too. But guess what? I still got plenty. Even if I lose my Dylan Fairchild point, I still have plenty here. Evan McPherson has looked like Evan McPherson again. I kind of have watched him do some kicks. I don't have any question marks about him going into the game. Yeah, I need to see it in the regular season, but I feel a lot better about Evan McPherson than I did after some of those games last season. So, healthier. He made a few corrections to his style, whatever. I like a lot of what I'm seeing from him, and that is huge for this team. Like, that would have swung a couple games last season and completely changed some of these narratives, even with the defense being as bad as it was, even with the guards being what they were. If he makes a few more kicks last season, that completely switches the narratives, and he's looked great so far. That's a big one for me.
He's made all 10 kicks, including 2 over 50 in the games. For the most part, outside of that stadium practice where he missed a couple of long ones, he's been really good in the practices as well. He's had many days where he didn't miss. A really good camp for Evan, back to the technique that he was using in the beginning, kind of getting away from whatever he changed to. So he seems to be feeling more confident in it. And I guess my return point on this would be, we haven't had any issues with the operation. The long snapper battle continues. We don't know who's going to win. It feels like Cal probably is going to win it just off the fact that he's been here the longest and you have the most knowledge of what he's going to do, and he seems to be doing a good job. So the long snapper battle has had no major hiccups. They both have been nearly perfect. They've been grading out as A's. Rico's been getting the ball down. You haven't had any issues with the hold. I've learned a lot about how snapping and seam rotation works. Laces out, Dan, right? Like we've been able to reference Ace Ventura. All of this has been very, very good with the operation and then with on top of Evan. So that's my return back to you. I take your Evan and I hit back long snapper battle's gone well.
Well, we talked a little bit about the big receivers. Now it's time to talk about the tight ends. Mike Gesicki and Joe Burrow in year one made plays together, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching them in their second season together. You throw Noah Fant into that mix. He's a little bit different from what Mike Gesicki gives you. That's really encouraging. And honestly, as much as I didn't want to admit it, Tanner Hudson has had a good training camp and some good performances in these preseason games. I like to give him crap because of that week one fumble last year. I kind of don't let that out of my memory, but I'll give it to the guy. He's making plays. He's sticking around when I didn't think he would. It gives you a lot of different options at tight end if guys get nicked up or if you want to go with some different looks. I mean, and I'm excited about all three of those dudes.
That's a good one. Yeah, just the fact that they actually went out and signed Noah Fant is almost half of the battle. They went out and did it, something that they haven't done enough of in recent years. I will counter with, it seems that no joint practices and then the moving of practice times to the morning, everyone agrees was a hit. Everyone agrees was the right thing to do, that making the decision to not do the joint practices, spend more time focusing on them and their own system. And, you know, what we're hearing a lot about now, the not showing a whole lot on the defensive side of the football so that anybody else can just see it in that video, all be out there, being a big part of it. They're very clear in the fact that they feel like that was the right choice now, even in hindsight, that was the right move to spend more time on themselves, and they feel like they're seeing the dividends from that. So I would say the new schedule, making it all feel different, might help with our favorite fast start narrative.
I feel like if you're already dipping into schedule, that I'm going to outlast you here. If you're already getting,
I've got things I can move to. I got plenty. I still got a long way to go.
Right.
I'm not worried.
We'll see. I feel good about my chances, but I'm going to counter with year 2 of Dan Pitcher as your offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch that offense last year. What did we get from it? We got a triple crown receiver, and you move Jamar Chase all over the field. He's in the slot. He's outside. I want to see more of that. And I think we're going to get a lot more creativity. These guys are all comfortable with each other now, year 2, and they have a lot of continuity. And, you throw Noah Fant into the mix. And now that Mitchell Tinsley is a starting receiver on your team and is going to take that over, I'm sure that'll help Dan Pitcher even more. But I'm excited to see what he's going to do with all of these guys.
How about Shamar Stewart? I mean, Shamar Stewart, and here's the thing about Shamar Stewart I'm specifically going to point out. The batting passes. Now, when we talked about getting sacks, and it's just about creating disruption, some sort of chaos, the havoc stat that people are it's the new in vogue stat. We saw again in this scrimmage the other day, Shamar gets his hand up. He's got these long arms. They're over 34-inch arms that really shows up. He's such a big, long, powerful. He's got all of it, man. And you see when he rushes and gets in there close, he's good at getting his hands up. He seems to have a knack for getting his hand on the ball. How many times have we seen a game turn because one of Burrow's passes gets batted for an interception?
Yeah.
Like, that happens all the time. And so if Stewart can be somebody that has a knack for that in the mold that, players like Myles Garrett and some of the really good ones have a knack at, even when they don't get in there, knowing how to use and find the ball. And Al Golden talks about ball disruption a lot. And that's the thing. This is going to be a defense that's just to succeed is going to have to create turnovers and be opportunistic that way. Well, maybe what we've seen from Shamar Stewart batting passes, which has happened a lot in camp, could be a big part of that. So that specific element of Shamar is my return to you.
Yeah, that is going to be really fun to watch. I'm going to stay on that side of the ball because I know there hasn't been a lot of positivity there, but Dax Hill being healthy again is on my list. That was one thing that gets kind of lost in the beleaguered secondary narratives from last season, is that he did look pretty good when he was out there. I know he has had some, a journey finding a spot that he could be best utilized in. But I'm really excited to see what he's going to look like since he's been able to bounce back from injury and make it through camp okay. And I know they managed him a little bit. So a healthy Dax Hill, I think, is going to be an important thing for this secondary.
Totally agree. Hey, Trey Hendrickson is still around and nowhere near as big of a distraction as he could have been. I mean, he could be out hanging out with the media every single practice, speaking into our microphones and just like talking trash about the other defensive linemen, about his teammates, about ownership every single day. He could have totally blown this thing up if he really wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has taken the opposite stance. He has not been a big distraction. He's still here. He seems like he really wants to be here and going to the zoo and being a part of this team, winning football games. And that's saying something considering how volatile the situation could have been. So that's my return.
I like that because especially as the trade narrative has started to fire back up again. And, that could be a lot of distraction for a guy, even for a Trey Hendrickson with what we've seen in the past. The fact that didn't kick it into another gear, like he still went to the preseason game. There was a lot of rumors. Is he going to get on that plane? Is he going to try and, really cause some of that disruption just to get this deal over the finish line? I know it seems a little uncertain right now, but it still feels like what we've said all along, that this is still going to happen. He wants to be part of this team. They want him to be part of this team. I had Trey Hendrickson on my list too, so my volley back, this is adjacent to your point, not the same point, so I'm going to count it for myself. But he tied his season low in training camp fights with 0. Like, that's big for him. Not a single training camp fist fight from Trey Hendrickson, so that's a big one.
That is a big one. You normally get. I will never forget the first day that Orlando Brown and Trey Hendrickson went against each other, and Orlando came out with like I think Trey. They had true claw marks, like the claw marks that went across his neck, and it's like,
good scrap.
Okay, this is what it's going to be. It's a good scrap, no doubt about that. My next one back to you is going to be. Eric Sztanyo is still our guy.
Yes,
Sztanyo is still here. He is our number one OG sponsor, advertiser on the show, and he's got the best real estate channel in Cincinnati on YouTube. Make sure you go check his YouTube channel out at Team Sztanyo. If you're looking to buy or sell, you can email directly info@teamsztanyo.com or go to www.teamsztanyo.com to connect. He's got the referral program now. He's still giving back to all the Growl Pals. If you send in a referral of someone who's buying or selling, or you yourself, once you connect with that referral, or you buy or sell, you're in. You get a limited edition hat, and when they connect with the referral or you close, they'll send you the Team Sztanyo hat, which we say it is so good. It's such a great hat. There's no doubt about it. And you get automatic entry to win Bengals tickets. So every time 2 Growl Pal referrals close or the Growl Pals themselves close, they hold a random drawing for a pair of Bengals tickets. So each closed deal counts as an entry. No purchase necessary to enter. He's trying to give. He's just continues to give back to the Growl Pals. That's why we love Sztanyo. So if you're looking to buy or sell, man, Eric's your guy.
We have a lot of people that listen to this show that used to live in Cincinnati or have Cincinnati ties, live elsewhere around the country, around the world even. What happens to a lot of Cincinnati people that leave? They come back eventually. If you're one of those people that's eyeing a return to the Queen City, Sztanyo's your guy. He's one of us, so he can take care of you for that. The hats are a big thing. I know that he brings some of them as giveaways at the live shows, and you can get them through the referral program. I'm pushing Sztanyo to get a little bit more family friendly, right? Get some things for the kids that come out, right? So I'm proposing that he starts creating some Sztanyo yo-yos. Yo-yos for the kids, the Stan yo-yos. That would be a fun extra thing to add to his merch repertoire.
I love that. Stan yo-yos. I'm on board with that. All right. So that's my
Who's
return
up?
back to you.
Okay,
What do
so
you
it's
got?
me.
You're back up again.
Charlie Jones being healthy and watching him and Jermaine Burton return punts, kicks, like it's going to be fun to watch both of those guys. And the fact that Jones is healthy for training camp finally adds another little piece to that offensive, to the offense and to the wide receiver room as a whole. It was nice watching him make some plays, catching that touchdown pass from Joe Burrow. That was a nice throw, good catch. And I like seeing the guy return kicks. So both of those returners are guys I'm excited about.
I let Charlie Jones know yesterday that I tried to lob Charles Sizzle out there into the ether, and I'm not sure how people have felt about it, but I'm trying. So I'm going to give it one more. Once he makes a big play in a regular season game, I'm going to try to lob Charles Sizzle back out there into the on the social media and see if it takes. And see, I'm going to try. I'm not giving up Charles. He's matured.
Yes.
He is not Chuck. He's not little Chuck anymore. He is grown. He's matured. He needs to get credit for that. He's a Charles now. So I can't give him Chaz because Charlie Goldsmith already has Chaz on Power Stack, so I can't take that from him. But Charles is trying to make that happen. All right, mine is going to be. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with. How about this? How about this from Al Golden yesterday? On Chris Jenkins. Need a big year from Chris Jenkins. Need the year 2 leap from Chris Jenkins. Quote, I think Chris Jenkins arguably has had the best camp of anybody, regardless of position. Now bringing BJ Hill back into the fold, that should help us a lot. They really need Chris Jenkins to be a guy. And if Al Golden's saying, regardless, he's putting it out there, regardless of position, this has been the best camp, that could be the big lift that they need on that defensive line. So if Al's feeling that and he's willing to put that out there, that's a good sign for maybe where this defense could evolve to this year.
Well, if he's saying that, do you think it's just because he hasn't been able to firsthand witness that long snapper battle that much? And maybe it's not. Yeah, at least put Chris Jenkins in the top 3 for the best camps. No, I do like hearing that. That is great if he actually can become a dude this year, because they definitely need him to be one. All right, I'm going to go with mine. I'm going to go resurgence here for Cam Taylor-Britt. That is theoretically still possible. I'm not saying that it's set in stone. I'm not saying it's a surefire thing, but I do think new defensive coordinator is kind of like a rebirth of the Cam Taylor-Britt hype. We looked at him as potentially going into last season, becoming like a true cornerback 1 and a lockdown guy and a tone setter for your defense going forward. I still think he can be that guy. I still think that's in him out there. And I'm going to give him this second chance here and really embrace that. I'm rooting hard for that. So in the true Dey Bright mode, I am all in on the Cam Taylor-Britt resurgence.
We've officially reached the could potentially happen portion of the positive off. Okay?
We sure have.
Good to know. Mine is all kind of connected to this. I'll piggyback on that. There are a lot of players who could potentially be good in the cornerback room. They're kind of throwing just bodies at it. Like, look, here's a bunch of guys. Here's a bunch of young guys. Somebody's going to be good, right? Like Dax Hill, he could be the guy that finds nickel is his home, and he's great. You mentioned Cam. DJ Turner certainly has his moments, and he's, according to Al Golden, he's been improving on some of the coverage on the intermediate stuff. That's what he's liking that.
He had that one good practice.
Yeah, the one good practice. Mm-hmm. Fig has been a guy that they like. He's about the right stuff. He maybe will know when Justin Fields is going to run this year. Like, I just feel like they're just throwing bodies at it. There's just a lot of different people that could potentially, even DJ Ivey, despite the really bad game he had in Philly, has had a lot of moments in practice. Like they just, it seems like they have a lot of bodies that could potentially become something. And so they can't all miss. Right?
Yeah, in the Dey Bright mode, yes, they can't all miss.
They can't all miss.
Dark, you would be saying, Charlie's line about how they all replaced each other when they got benched.
It's fair. We're not focusing on that today.
Right. I'm going to stay in the secondary, as this is adjacent. Geno Stone, they took some money back from him. Maybe the team's got big plans for that money. Maybe they're going to throw a big ice cream social for the fan base down at Paycor. Who knows what their plans are? We haven't seen them spend that money yet. I'm sure they had some good reasons for it. And I'm holding out for an ice cream party. And it gives some goodwill back to Geno Stone. He's going to be Geno Cold Stone out there serving it up to the fans. I think that's a real possibility because there had to be a reason they took that money. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Boy, I mean, talk about real marketing opportunity. Geno Cold Stone. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. I like this.
Forget the Stan yo-yos. This is even better. I'm giving out good business ideas to everybody today.
You really are. You're just distributing today. All right, mine is going to be my next one. How about this? We're talking about the fast start a lot. We're talking about what this defense, how are they going to quickly acclimate? They don't face a tier 1 or tier 2 quarterback until October. Their first 4 QBs they face, assuming that they stay healthy: Joe Flacco, tier 4, Trevor Lawrence, tier 3, JJ McCarthy, essentially a rookie after missing his whole rookie year, tier 4, Bo Nix, tier 3. Okay. The defense can ease in while it's figuring some things out and unleashing the new scheme. Right. And so I think of it that way. You know, we talked a lot about the last 5 games of last year was sort of like, yeah, they're better, but it was, look at who they played. Well, look at who they're going to play as they ease into this year. I don't see there's no elite quarter. They're going to have a massive quarterback advantage in each of the first 4 weeks as they try to get off to this faster start.
Yeah, and if you think about, like, not only are they going against easy quarterback, or not easy, but maybe not as strong quarterbacks, those guys also don't have any tape to watch about this defense. There's nothing out there for
no
them.
Tape.
The master plan is already in progress here. I like that. My next one is a little offshoot of that. It's just the fact that you're hearing regional teams start guys like Daniel Jones and Joe Flacco. Like, that's a good time. It's a good thing to see in the news and give yourself a good laugh. It's fun rooting for a team that matters. As long as Joe Burrow is your quarterback, this team will matter. And so that is a big one. It doesn't matter what else is happening. We've listed positives now for 25 minutes, lots of good things. But even without as many as we've already had, having Joe Burrow on your team is going to make you a team that matters. Rooting for a team that matters is fun. Look at, Joe Flacco. Look at Daniel Jones. There's some bad situations out there, some really rough quarterback watches, and it's going to be really fun to watch Joe again.
Yes. Mine is going to be, hey, we made this where we didn't even talk about Mitch Tinsley.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, the Mitch hype train is just rolling at this point. He had this quote to me the other day. I was sort of asking him if he had any mementos from that he's going to keep, like a game ball, or if he's given the jersey to somebody from his like big breakout Monday Night Football game. And here's why you like Mitch Tinsley. He said, yeah, he might give the cleats to his brother or something, but he said, quote, I got bigger goals. I don't want to look at Monday as my Super Bowl. I got a lot of things I really want to accomplish in my career. Not to downplay Monday, but for me, I would like to move on from that. He's even got his head on straight in terms of what he's going to do next, and not like living in the limelight of his big moment in the preseason. You got to like that. You got to like how he's not letting that get to his head. I like that.
Yeah, I hope that we get more. Obviously, he's not going to be playing a big role in this offense because there are some incredible, like we've talked about, receivers ahead of him. But he is going to be an interesting guy to watch in the middle of a blowout after we've murdered a team, and then he gets a few minutes and, throw him a few more touchdowns. He's a guy to keep an eye on. My next one, I'm staying with home field advantage on this one. I think it's going to be better than ever at Paycor this year for this big reason, I guess. Opposing teams are going to be afraid to come play here just because of the increase in crime downtown. A lot of that is breaking through on social media. Those narratives have hit a national level. That's going to put the fear of God in some of these guys that are coming to town. They're not going to know where they can go out or if they could go around or what they're going to run into. So they're going to be a little bit more on edge coming to play in Cincinnati, giving us another advantage.
I like that. Underrated advantage there. You didn't think about that. Unease for the team on the road in the downtown hotels. All of a sudden, oh, look, another team has decided to move and stay out in Mason instead. Here we go.
Now they got to
do the long bus ride in,
Yep.
It's just so many advantages. Let's go to, I'm going to say Jake Browning might have had his best camp. Now, he's had a lot of bad camps. So the bar isn't super high there. but I think he's had a decent camp. He's had a few bonehead moments, I guess, that you'll have in practices, and the Philly game wasn't as great, but he looked better the other night. I think they feel really solid about what they have as a backup quarterback. If he needs to come in for a pinch for a game or 2 or 3, I think they feel like they can win with him, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I know that he did, right. The Philly game was the one outlier there where there was a little bit of that chatter of like, is there going to be a backup QB battle? I know that's a question we had last week on this show. Is Des Ridder going to overtake him? And, we kind of put that to bed pretty quickly, but Jake Browning did that even better with his performance in that game and just really looked fantastic. So that is going to be a good one. I'm going to go here with Jalen Rivers as a guard. I kind of like some of those reps that he's had at guard. I know he didn't look good as a tackle. Guys were running around him a lot, which is not good if you're playing on the edge like that. But I do think there could be a future for him as a backup guard here. Like he looked good in some of those reps, and for a room that doesn't have a lot of depth right now and is experiencing a lot of injury problems and guys getting nicked up and stuff, I feel optimistic that he can step in a pinch and give you some good guard play.
He could potentially be a backup guard is where we're at with the positive. Okay,
Dey Bright, come on.
I'm not out. He's a rookie. He's a rookie right now. Down the line, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's not entirely gaslighting that the defense is good in practice narrative holds water. It's possible. I hear what they're saying. This whole, we're not showing anything. We've been really good in practice. They have been good in practice. I don't disagree with that. I'm not lying to you guys when we talked about how good the defense has looked in practice at times. So I'm going to say, I don't think that it's total spin that we've been getting about the defense the last couple of days. I have a story about that up today about what they have to say in terms of why they believe that. I hear some of it. I'd like to see them tackle better.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But I'm sorry, I'm stopping myself. It's a positive off.
Oh, I thought I was going to declare myself the winner if you were going to go negative. Okay.
But I can see what they're saying. I do see what they're saying. They have done really well against one of the best offenses in football consistently. So I hear that. All right, you're up. I got out of that clean. It was hard. I had a moment there.
Oren Burks is on my list. I'm excited to see what he might give us this season. When I'm looking at linebacker play, I'm like, hey, he's played some minutes, some important linebacker minutes in his last season. Towards the end of the season, he was called upon and did admirably. Maybe he could be somebody that you can work into the rotation here if for some reason your starting linebackers are not looking so hot or they're out of position or getting knocked down a lot. All theoreticals. I'm not saying that's going to happen or has happened recently. But he is a guy that I kind of am excited about. I know he got in with the ones when Demetrius Knight was injured, I guess, in camp.
Yeah, right? lower extremity injury.
So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Okay, excited about Oren Burks. All right. Hey, yeah, man, you watch him play the Super Bowl and you're like, that guy's a player, right?
Yes. So maybe he can be a player for us.
Sure. The press conference room looks nice. I like it. I like
that is a big one.
The dais, it looks really nice. They went with the stone, like it just a really nice look. I like everything about it, nice and clean and crisp, and I've enjoyed the lighting in there. And you can hear our questions now. So shout out to the press conference room. That's
a huge one. I'm saying stadium. The stadium deal getting done is a big one. Like think about how agonizing the next 2 years could have been with all of that. Like, oh, are they going to go to Mason? Is it going to be here? Who else is putting a bid together? What's going to happen with this? Local politicians would have been talking about that constantly. It would have just been so annoying. All the narratives, the national narratives. Oh, what's this team going to do? Where are they going to take them to a different city, or what's going to happen with the Bengals' future? All of that's put to bed, at least for now. And as annoying as that could have been, it's kind of fun that we don't have to worry about that now.
I cannot agree more on that one. I am so happy that we don't have to discuss that anymore. My next one. Okay, sure. Miles Murphy's hurt again. But but I don't think he's going to start the year on IR this time. So that's good.
Okay.
That's a positive development. It could have been worse. Could have been worse.
All right. Well, I was expecting a little bit something different when you mentioned Myles Murphy's name, so I was really looking forward to that. Could have been
just
worse.
Staying positive.
Yeah, could have been worse. I don't know if that's the most positive Myles Murphy take.
His injury could have been worse. It could have been like he's missed long stretches of time due to injury, and that's been kind of blamed for a lot of his failures in the past. It doesn't look like it's going to be that serious this time. That's all.
That is good. We did talk at the beginning of this segment about how positive it was that Joe Burrow made it through training camp without injury. I'm going to give a quick nod to Mike Brown making it through training camp without hitting anybody accidentally with his golf cart. You know, you can't rule that out at age 90. You put a guy behind the wheel, anything can happen. I've seen that happen to older relatives in their 80s. They're not the best drivers. So you have a golf cart, you're around some very highly paid players, a lot of guaranteed money to a few of those guys. Some bad things could have happened. They didn't happen. That's a positive for me. That's where I'm at on my list too, by the way.
Yeah. I've got, everyone got to have a good laugh at Bobby Hart committing penalties for the Commanders on Monday. How about that? There's a lot of it starts to make up for what you had to live through when he was here. And then everyone got to collectively find out he's still in the league. And that was a nice bonding experience for all Bengals fans out there.
That was. And it's always fun when you see like these guys that were not enjoyed very much during their time in Cincinnati. You do think they're just out of the league, and then they'll pop up somewhere for another team. You're like, really? It's that bad over there that, you're talking about Jackson Carman? Well, good luck to you. God bless. Let's see where, oh gosh. You know what? For all your talk about being Paul Downer Jr., that's the moniker that people throw at you sometimes when you're just reporting about some of the stuff on this team. I think you won. I'm out.
You're out.
You win the positive off. You've got more.
Look at me go. I had one more in the holster. I had one more in the holster.
Only one?
I was ready. I could have gone one further, and that was, I think Joe's hair has not been a distraction.
That's true.
It hasn't been about the tips or the blonde or any other thing that he's done. It's been in a good nondescript place, keeping his focus on football and not about what's going on. So I like that. Even despite the photo shoot in the tub, right? He's been very football focused, and we're not talking about his hair. And I think that's a good thing too. So that was my last one I had left. I was ready to sneak that in. It's good to get a win. It's all you want. You just want to, whether it counts or not, you just want to get a win. That's all there is to it.
I'm just glad that we were able to make it 40 minutes into the show, trading positives. That's how much there is to look forward to this season and how exciting it's going to be for Bengals fans.
Future is so bright. I want to rank. Can I rank your tweets real quick?
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to rank your tweets that you had from the game, which it's probably the end of our positive off.
Yes.
Once we get into this, you were in a mood.
I mean,
maybe I would say.
I think a lot of people were.
A lot of people were in a mood. I think you properly
think
illustrated the feelings of the fan base during Monday's game. Number 4 for me was defensive starters should play the third preseason game out of shame.
I stand by it. Yep. Make them play it.
Number 3, guys, let's not overreact to this. It's important to remember Myles Murphy isn't out there.
Yeah.
Even I can credit you on that one. Well done.
That's a positive. That was not a negative.
Number 2, Mitchell Tinsley playing with the confidence of a guy who goes against this Bengals defense every day.
That was his moment. Yep. He got to roll with that confidence.
Now, the last one that I have as a winner for you was one that wasn't even a part of the game, but I did see it there, and we haven't had a chance to reference it yet. And it was this one. It was the Moneyball tweet. It says, "This is Deshaun Watson. We can't replace his accusation number alone, but we can do it in aggregate." Very well done with the Isaiah Bond signing response.
What are they doing with all of it? Like, they're collecting those guys. Haven't they learned their lesson? There's just bad karma when you get too many of those guys on the same roster. I know he might be talented, but you didn't even bother to get a quarterback to throw the ball to the receiver. So what are you doing getting another one of these guys into your team?
It's amazing, but well done. Well crafted by you. I enjoyed that one. I want to make sure it got the respect that it deserved.
So we were able to go pretty deep into the show with our positives. Are you ready for a few questions?
Yeah, let's I'll try to speed round through some of these since we had so much positive to get to today.
Other than Billy Ray Valentine from Trading Places, would you rather get a starting offensive lineman, starting defensive lineman, or starting safety in return for a trade for Mitchell Tinsley?
I would say, well, you're not getting a starter. So I'll just
Yeah.
Get anybody. You can get someone who's on the brink of someone else's 53 as well. But if I'm just throwing that part out, I think I'm offensive line first, defensive tackle specifically second, and safety would be last. I mean, you would take all three, but that would be my prioritization. Keep an eye, by the way, trades, waiver wire. I expect the Bengals to be pretty active or wanting to be active in there. There's just a lot of spots on the back of the roster that feel weak. I just think the last 5 to 7 spots on this roster feel very down this year. Like they could just easily see a bunch of guys be replaced, whether it be I kind of went through this on the show earlier this week with Dave, but the back of that offensive line room, the back of the defensive tackle room, the back of the safety room, I think Dejan is potentially going to get replaced. We'll see. But I mean, I think that you could see somebody, if they find a waiver wire safety that they want to come in, Dejan would be the one to go. I think Tyson has played well enough and sort of won that battle to be the third safety. So that maybe they're looking elsewhere there. I don't know. But I think there's a couple of spots like that you could see some trades, some waiver wire, things like that happening. So keep an eye on that.
This one's from Brian. He says, how come it hasn't been discussed to move Ted Karras to right guard? It seems like we might have a viable backup center option with Matt Lee or our new undrafted free agent who could play it at an NFL level, or at least better than our other guard options. So why have they not talked about moving Karras over?
I just think it's the importance of the center position in general. As someone who knows all the calls, as a leader, you want a veteran down there kind of running the show. He's done a good job of it. There's always a lot of don't move twice to try to fix one problem, right? Like just keep things. You have 2 really good tackles. You have a center that you trust. Leave those things in place and try to fix the other things. I understand what you're saying. I don't know if Matt Lee's any good. Again, we've seen him in preseason last year. He's hardly gotten out there due to his injury this year. I think he's going to be one to watch on Saturday in Saturday's game. How much he's supposed to play and how does he look? We haven't seen him yet this preseason, hardly in camp. Do they have trust in him to be the backup center even? Or could they let him go and Lucas Patrick's your backup center and they keep more of the guards or whatever that they want to keep around? That's in play. I think he's kind of playing for a job. So, and Seth McLaughlin is kind of in a similar boat. Like, how hampered is he physically? Is he good enough? Can you stash on the PS? There's a lot of questions there with those 2 guys, and Lucas Patrick's flexibility to move to center makes them no sure bet to both make this team. That's all.
Well, you're talking about not moving guys twice. The next question is, if Lucas Patrick is so bad, which, again, this is him saying that, not that the team's saying that, why would there be hesitation to start Cody Ford maybe at right guard? I recognize he's a versatile backup, but he was decent last year. Why wouldn't we just put the best 5 out there?
They are going to put the best 5 out. If they feel like Lucas is better than Cody Ford, which, judging by what we saw at guard from Cody in the preseason game, the first preseason game, and some in camp, I think that's the judgment, and that he has more value as the versatile backup that's going to spend more time at tackle because they don't have hardly any answers there. Then I just think it's a matter of, if they felt like Cody was a lot better than Lucas Patrick, he would be the starting guard. I don't have any doubts about that. Lucas, I think, he's been battling injury kind of all camp. Maybe that's hindered a lot of what he's doing. I hate to say this because I feel like I'm going to get slayed for this, but I do think he has been better than people are giving him credit for. That's because people are just crushing this dude, right?
Yes.
I don't think it's been that bad. Yeah. It has not been good. He needs help. They're going to have to scheme up stuff around him. He's the weak link. He has been tossed. Like, it has not been great, right? Like, but I don't think it has been that bad. When he was in there the other night, I felt like he held up okay. It wasn't great, but he held up okay. I think that's the point. They want somebody who can go in there and hold up okay. And I think they feel like he can do that. We'll see if that's wrong. We'll see if he can survive. I mean, he's had injury issues for a long time. But I think that they feel like he is the best option right now.
So our next question is about the physicality of the defense is kind of struggling with. Do you think that's because our offense is a finesse offense? Has the lack of joint practices caused maybe an identity issue for that defense because they keep going up against this offense that isn't very physical?
I don't think the joint practice has anything to do with it. I just think they're a finesse team, and until someone proves otherwise. I mean, you got to be notable in the trenches. They're not good enough on the lines. They want to be. I think they're trying to invest there in terms of draft capital. They've put a bunch of picks in there, young, athletic dudes that can be super intimidating. Shamar Stewart, super intimidating. Amarius Mims, super intimidating. Orlando Brown's huge. Like, they've put a bunch of picks down there. TJ Slayton, intimidating, right? Like they've tried to invest and not be such a, I don't like to use the word soft because that's unfair. These guys are football players. Like, they're tough as hell, but more of a finesse team. They're going to be that. They're going to pass. They're going to be Joe and Jamar and T or whatever. They do need to be more physical at the point of attack. They've tried to invest in that. It has to at some point pan out. Until they go show that they do look different. Yeah, you think it's fair to call them a finesse team.
Who's your breakout player for the defense this season? Who do you think is going to be that?
Chris Jenkins. I think I'm going to listen to Al, I guess. He's the one that they need. He's a second-year high pick. It makes sense. He has looked good. Al says he's having a great camp. I'll believe it. I'll make him my breakout.
I have a lot of hope on Joseph Osai and a prove-it year, and maybe you kind of kick Shamar Stewart inside on those pass rush downs, and Osai's getting after opposing quarterbacks. So I think he could be he's one that I'm going to watch for a breakout, or at least better than what we might have had at that position. How about a quick ambush question?
Yeah.
You ready for that? A little ambush light. Which player on the Bengals roster do you think is the biggest bro? The guy that's always there for you, knows your drunk Taco Bell order, brings beer when you all hang out, just a total vibes guy. And I think my vote for this would be Ted Karras. Like, he's the one who's describing Ted Karras here. Vibes, tone setter, bro. Like, it checks all the boxes, right? the one who does. He's organizing team activities. I heard he's renting out a local place for the whole team to celebrate the end of camp. Like, he's going to be the organizer. He's got a business. He's trustworthy. If you needed someone to come. If people pick each other up from the airport anymore, I know people don't really do that. But if you needed somebody to really do something for you, he's the one you'd want to be there. There's no doubt. He's got a lot of those. Sure. Yeah. He's got that vibe of like, hey, if you guys are going to drink, I'd just rather you do it with me at my place. So I can kind of make sure everyone's good and taken care of here. So let's be responsible with our partying and do it under our roof here.
Yeah, I like that. Honorable mention for me on this one, though, would be Andre Yoshivash. He is, I've noticed, because if you follow all the like Bengals players or whatever on Instagram and stuff, he is in every post with some sort of support, right? Like, love it, bro, or like great pick, or throw a nickname out there, something like that. Like, he is the cheerleader there to support you. And he's the friend that everybody needs, who's just, I got you, man. You got to post, quick heart. You're the man. Great shot. Can't wait to see you. Like, he's a supporter. He's a good dude. I like honorable mention for social media support specifically to Andre Yoshivash.
Do you know what pulls him back a little bit in that? You're talking about social media and Instagram followings. He's got a big one. And he's got a lot more females on that list than some of the other people following athletes. And
that's true.
That can draw you back in the group hang hierarchy. If you're the hot guy and, you're out at a place and everybody wants to talk to that kind of knocks you down a little bit too, even if you are a good vibes guy.
Yeah, you've had that problem, right?
Constantly.
People don't invite you out because you're the hot guy.
They're like, we can't have a hot guy in here really ruining our chance at all these ladies down here. So we can't have him in the mix. That's the problem.
We need to get to the Growler bet.
Yes.
The Growler bet. I promised this the other day that we were going to push the Growler bet to today. So first of all, we have to recap last week's Growler bet. So last week's Growler bet, which when you hear the Growler bet, you can send your submission into the Growler podcast at gmail.com. And you can send us anything in there. You can send us questions. If you have questions for us that you want us to answer on Who Dey Light, business inquiries, you just want to like make fun of me or anything. We appreciate all of it. It's all in there. We all see it and we love it. So do whatever you want. But if you want to submit to the Growler bet, you can. We love when you put funny subject headers in there, and we try to give you a shout out. On that note, so last week's was Commanders total offensive yards. Of course, Philly had this massive number, and the question was, could it be worse? Jay thought it could be worse. I thought it maybe would be a little bit better, but it was up in the 400s against the Eagles. It ended up being 270. 270 was the number. Before I get to the results, I want to point out some of the best subject headers that I had. So shout out to everybody. There's a lot of good ones to this one. There's been a lot going on the Growler lately, so you guys had a lot of content to play with, and that showed. Brian Ramstetter says, my Growler took a pay cut and then got injured. Shout out to Gino Stone. Like that one. Shout out to Dan Ratcliffe, who was asking for an update on my guy who dumped his family and moved to Key West and lived on my couch for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted more. He wanted more of that story. I can only say the last time I saw Phil, he bought me lunch on Mallory Square, this place called El Mesón de Pepe. It was like 5 years after I had left. I hadn't seen him in 5 years. And he had owed me $200 on an Ohio State, Texas college football bet from 5 years prior. And his way of repaying it was for showing up at El Mesón de Pepe and buying me a $20 lunch. And I said, you know what? I'll take it. I assumed that not only would I not see that money, that I would probably not see you again. But yet there we were, and he was still doing fine. That was a long time ago. Phil, if you're listening, I hope you are. I hope you're doing well and you owe me $180. All right. Hunter Hughes with a good one. 404 : defense not found. Like that.
Yeah.
Well done. A good one. Internet humor. This one, you're always going to get a Ghostbuster shout out. Shout out to Charlie's Ghost. Ray, if someone asks you if you placed a Growler bet, you say yes. Well done there. Dan Bunke with we got no guards. We got no safeties. Our Growlers' heads are falling off. Love that. Dumb and Dumber, always good. Lonnie W. Worse? How could things get any worse? Take a look around. We're at the threshold of hell. National Lampoon's shout out. Well done, everybody. A lot of good entries this week. Appreciated it. Now we specified, usually we will specify a range of potential answers, but we didn't in this one. Now, a lot of you guys playing off of the previous winner who guessed 69, of course, as you guys all do, because that's what you do. The answer was 270, and so all of this, the Margaret Shanks had 269. Shout out to Margaret for chiming in with that. It's not 270. It's just
it's not.
So close. Sorry, no winner this week, but it was an excellent effort. I hate to not reward people that are guessing 69, but in this case, it's just not good enough.
I mean, that's one that you have to kind of watch. Like fantasy football, you're waiting for those stat corrections the next day, and maybe you get that extra half point that you needed to win. I think the Growler Bets has that too. I'm sure people were checking, like Margaret was probably waiting for them to adjust some of those rushing stats so she could have gotten it down to 269. Then she would have been the big winner.
A lot of people guessing 469 in that one. A lot.
Yeah, I understand that one for sure. I would have guessed 469 after watching the first two drives. For
Saturday's preseason game, something to hopefully make it interesting for you. The Growler bet this week is Des Ridder passing yards. Des is going to play a bunch in this game. What will his passing yards total be? So if you can name Des Ridder's passing yards in Saturday's game, you can win drinks on me at our live show or some other agreement that we make if you don't live here. So, all right. Send those into the Growler podcast at gmail.com.
All right, Growl Pal Spotlight. Are you ready for this?
Yes,
this is the segment of the show that we always highlight cool things that Growl Pals are doing, whether it's a small business or a charity golf outing, stuff to keep building up our Growl Pal community. Today, it is a listener, Tyler, who is in search of a kidney. This is a new one for us. We've not done people that need organ help before, but he is looking for a kidney. He is in stage 4, almost stage 5 kidney failure. He's looking for a living donor. He's got a social media page out there on Facebook and Instagram, Transplant for Tyler. And, he's got a lot of good information about organ donation and kidney donors and how that all works. And he said he's learned a lot in that process. I will say that we meant to plug this last week, and I went on an impassioned rant about how he needed a liver. I got the organ wrong. That happens. Nobody's perfect. I'll take the L on that one. It was not a liver. He needs a kidney. And I got it right this week. So if you want to be a living donor and give a kidney to our guy, Tyler, we'll put that. I
don't know that you can give up a liver. I think you need it.
I'm not a doctor, Paul. Come on. I'm a stand-up comic.
You're a stand-up comic. And liver is funnier, right?
It is.
There's more funny jokes in it. There's nothing funny about this. If you talk about the ultimate Growl Pal sacrifice. I'm going to tell you, definitely Grader's worthy if you give this man a kidney. I'm going to I'm going to go out on a limb and say pretty good chance that you're going to get the beautiful 6 pints of whatever flavor you need. They might pull a flavor or invent a flavor, kidney bean or something like that, in your honor if you do this. Okay. I mean, this would be next level Grader's worthy if you could make that happen. So
the most Grader's worthy we've had if you are willing to give up a kidney.
Yeah. All right. Where are you at? Where are you at next? What do you got going on this week?
So Saturday, I am in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Summit City Comedy Club. I'm doing shows with a few different guys there. I think at 4, 7:30, 9:45. August 29th and 30th at the Toledo Funny Bone. September 5th at Commonwealth Comedy Club in Cincinnati. September 22nd through 28th in Las Vegas at Brad Garrett's in the MGM Grand. And then October is the big one. October 9th through 12th, I'm headlining Go Bananas in Cincinnati.
All right.
So if you want free tickets to that, send me an email. That's the Growl Pal special. We will hook it up.
Love that. Cincinnati shows. Get them now. Enjoy Fort Wayne.
Yes, I'm sure Fort Wayne will be lovely.
You can use all your Jesse Bates material there. Home of Jesse Bates, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Wow. Yeah. I really want to. That's a guy I really want to take shots at. Not
shots at.
Still around.
I'm sure you've got a bunch of Jesse Bates material. Just you've been waiting to use.
I had to retire it. Yeah, I broke it out in Atlanta for a little bit.
Just a thought. Right.
Dad life.
Yeah. What do you got?
So I am now coaching soccer for all 3 of my daughters, and so the season just started a few weeks ago. We got first games coming up now. One thing they do have as a soccer coach, and I like the league does this, is they have a ×2 policy. I don't know if you're familiar with that with your kids in youth sports. What the ×2 policy means is that there has to be 2 adults at the field anytime kids are present. I like that rule as a parent. I don't like it as much as a coach, because if my assistant coach bails at the last second, now every parent that comes to drop off their kid for practice, I just have to beg them to stay. Just like I'm not allowed to be left alone with the kids. I can't be left alone with the children. Please stay here.
Yes.
So it doesn't make me look great because I don't think the parents are aware of the ×2 policy. It just makes me sound like a weirdo.
Yeah. How have those conversations been going? Have you had to do that yet?
Fortunately, the one time I had it, the guy that was there had already helped coach in the past when I've traveled for stand-up. So I was like, hey, you want to hang out for a few minutes and help get things started? He's one of those eager dads that you like to have as a coach that is always willing to do the snacks and drinks if somebody bailed or help out setting up cones and things like that. So I was able to press him into duty. Not as much luck at other teams.
Okay. Yeah. That's an awkward conversation every time.
It is a very awkward conversation to have when it's like, hey,
you definitely want to say it quietly. I don't think making an announcement is the way to go.
Right. And you don't want your coach when you show up to drop your kid off for an hour and a half to be like, I'm not allowed to be alone with these kids. Please stay with me. I need you.
Love it.
What do you got?
I've got, well, new school year, right? So you get a new school year, you get new changes in staff and support staff and people doing different things. So our school was in a very busy, the elementary school is in a very busy intersection, and there's a lot of walkers and bikers and people that come into school there. And so there is a crossing guard that's on duty for the beginning and the end of school. And a very important position because cars are kind of crazy in there. They get very frustrated by the backups that happen when school stuff is going on. There's some turns. It's really important that you're out there and you are known, you are seen. You got to be aggressive. We lost the old crossing guard there. His not lost, like his kids graduated. He just moved on to something else.
In the line of duty.
Doing well, actually. Doing really
cool.
well. But so there's a new crossing guard this year. And I don't know. He seems like a really, really nice older gentleman. Like, really. My question is, I don't know that he's about that life. Okay. The crossing guard life, you got to be kind of a jerk and have very little tolerance for shenanigans out there. You got to be out there. You got to be willing to maybe like throw a shoe or something at a car or yell if you have to. You're out there in the middle. You're holding it. You're staring people down, making sure they're not moving. You're protecting the kids. And this guy, I hope that we see him. He might evolve. And once you've been out there a few times and you realize, wow, people are kind of jerks out here, that you're going to have to tap into that side. I'm just wondering if he's about that life. I'm excited to watch his evolution. I'm excited to see what happens. I hope that he is. But I'm a little concerned. And you got to have a certain personality if you're going to be a crossing guard. That's not just easy breezy. Here you go. I got you. How are the kids doing? No, you got to perfect your stare down and your aggression.
You know what? We made it 2 preseason games before some fans gave up on Al Golden as a defensive coordinator. And like, is he the right guy? They're questioning that. You couldn't go 1 week of school before questioning the crossing guard and calling him out and on a
just
huge
questioning.
public setting.
I think it could be fine. I think there's a potential. This is like the positive off. He has potential to potentially work out. Like, I think it definitely could work out. He seems really nice. Like, he seems like the kind of guy you just want to give a hug to,
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm worried
it's
if that's the type of personality that can handle that spot.
Yeah, you know what? There is a big problem in Cincinnati, and it's been solved by creating all these roundabouts because a lot of these 4-way stops have been torn out, and they threw in roundabouts, which confuse old people. But a lot of times you'd get stuck in traffic for minutes as you had 4 people at each stop sign, and they would all just take turns waving each other on. It's like, somebody's got to go. So we can't just sit here being too friendly the whole time. And so the crossing guard, he might have a little case of that where people are just too nice in this town. And that could be a real problem. How long do you go? How long do you let this run before you do start spreading the word about other parents? Like, do we call for this guy's job? Do we start putting up anonymous messages on the door of the school and, trying to get him to step up? Like, when do you make that call?
I mean, you got to feel like at some point, if there's a near incident, right, with an over-aggressive, out-of-control car or something, then all of a sudden, then the chatter will probably start, is my guess. I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that. I've got hope. I just, you just want to see it come to fruition. But shout out to him. I hope it works out.
We watched the long snapper battle in training camp. That was interesting. Now we get to watch the crossing guard situation all school year. So we'll expect updates.
There will be updates. I would love nothing more than to come out and that guy is flipping off a Toyota Tercel. That'd be great.
Yeah, he's gonna bring that energy now.
Yeah, that's what we need. All right, full show, packed show. We shoved a lot in here.
Dey Bright.
Dey Bright. The positive off was a success. We did 40 minutes of positivity, people. So I don't want to hear any more about how negative it's been, and we're only talking about the problems. Okay. We've done it all. We've done Who Dey Dark. We've done Who Dey Bright. We've done Who Dey Night. We do it all here.
Yep.
So I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy, those of you that are going, enjoy the first preseason game. I will say the same thing that I say every single year, and this is a perfect one. If you've ever wanted to take your kids to a football game, to a Bengals game, the preseason games are the perfect time to do it. Don't take them to Monday Night Football against the Steelers or stuff like that. That's not the atmosphere to take your kids to their first game. This is great. They'll get to see all the players out there. They don't know the difference. The seats will be cheap. They'll be easy to get around in. They won't have the intensity that can be a little much. There won't be anywhere near as much cursing and all of that stuff. If you're worried about that, my PSA every year is take your kids to the preseason game. They will love it. It's the time that you should take them to give them the experience. And it's at 1:00 on a Saturday. You can't ask for better than that in terms of not having to worry about late or any of that stuff that you sometimes see with these preseason games. So that's my PSA. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. We'll have the walkout afterwards. Cut down to 53 is Tuesday, and then we will be off into regular season mode. We are excited about that. And then our live show, season kickoff show at BetMGM, Tom's Kitchen and Bar at the Banks, September 4th, 7:00, leading up to Cowboys and Eagles starting the season. It's going to be a blast. We hope to see you there. Have a good one, everybody.